Daphne Vought is known as a real estate matchmaker, partnering people with their perfect property. Bringing decades of sales experience and as a certified personality trainer, life and business coach. She offers a unique skill set to her clients. Anchored in faith based on an abundant mindset, Daphne believes there is always hope and opportunity.
I'm getting there. Hold on. Okay.
Here we go. How do I, or are you gonna?
Yep.
You're
You're
gonna?
just gonna,
Okay.
if I'm not tracking, then just tell me when to flip it.
Throw some at your head.
Yep.
Was that recorded? Oh, alrighty, so yes, I am known as a real estate matchmaker, partnering people with their perfect property. Next slide. And this is actually some new branding that I'm gonna be going through. So at Keller Williams, they are the brokerage. They cover my E&O, the big stuff that Kristen doesn't cover. They give me the logos, all the types of things. And what you can do with Keller Williams is be an independent agent, or you can be on a team. When you are an independent agent, you kind of come and go and do whatever you please within legal, okay? When you're on a team, you have an entire set of resources dedicated to you. Just so happens my team leader used to be in mortgage and used to be in title. So, not only are we realtors, we also have the inside knowledge, because we share that with one another, that helps all of our transactions go a lot smoother. So, I want to thank you all for actually creating my presentation for me. I asked in the WhatsApp what you all would like to hear, and that's what I'm going to share with you today, because up until now, I've focused solely on commercial with you. Today I get to share a little bit of residential, so I'm super excited. One of the questions was, first-time home buyer, what do you do? Well, each one of these, I picked 3 different subjects, and each one has 8 different points. And 1, know your buying power, which means get pre-qualified. I can hook you up with somebody already. It goes a lot faster and a lot smoother. Because here's a question I ask. If I found your perfect house in the next 30 days, would you be ready to close on it? If you've never gone through anything and you don't have your financial statements, likely no. And I don't like disappointing people. So I like to go in with somebody who's already prepared. Part of getting that way is also lowering your DTI, your debt to income ratio. See, I learned stuff. Pay off those credit cards. Once you are pre-approved, don't open another one. Don't buy a motorcycle. We're in the process of looking for a house. Had it happen, okay? So make sure you understand what your buying power is. Location, which is also your buying power. Bang for your buck. Certain areas of Northwest Arkansas are just naturally going to be a little more expensive than others. If you absolutely have to want to live there, great. We will find the best thing we can for you. Just understand that maybe a little bit smaller and have a little less bells and whistles with it, okay? Number 3, age matters. Not of your realtor, of the property. I have some people say, I only want new construction. Okay, I will honor that for you, and you will be paying more for your property than if you got something that had a little bit of experience on it. Why? Because the cost of materials have gone up. Also, some of these major home builders are slapping these things up truly in the middle of the night. And so the quality is not there. There are pros and cons to having a brand new build, which comes with a 1-year warranty. Things don't usually happen until 18 months. But a brand new build versus something that, hey, it's 5 years old. In the real estate world, that is new, okay? What you don't like is important. I'm gonna sit down and I wanna get your dream list. I also wanna know what you don't like. Because sometimes, oh, I don't know, anything. I know, that's not right, not anything. So sometimes we reverse engineer it and we start with, well, what don't you want? And then that helps reveal what you really do want. What are your non-negotiables? Everyone has them. Sometimes, again, they don't know them until we start asking the questions. But what are those non-negotiables? For me, when I bought my first one on my own, it was, I have to have a garage, period. That is not negotiable. And so when I drove up to a property, if it had a carport, nope, not gonna do it. Number 6, lifestyle. So one of my favorite things to do when we've narrowed it down to a house or two for a client is when we go back for a second showing is walk through the house like you were living there. So we start in the master or primary bedroom. Okay, pretend you woke up. How's your day gonna unfold? walk through the house, what's convenient, what goes with your lifestyle. Then we go to the garage. Okay, you just pulled in, what is it gonna look like when you walk in those doors? So your house has to be conducive to your lifestyle. Potential. Look, I would love, love, love to have you move into your ideal perfect home right away. But are you gonna discount a house because one bedroom is painted blue and your favorite color is green? There's potential there. A lot of cosmetics can really change the way a home looks. And finally, what are your goals? Okay, you wanna buy a house, you wanna stop paying rent, but is this a house that someday is gonna become an investment property? Is this your forever home? Is this a house that you're buying to flip? There are different goals, and I need to know what those are to best serve you. Even as a first-time home buyer, you have a goal. Okay, next slide. Do you really need a realtor? All right. Would you, if you were a brain surgeon, perform your own surgery? The answer is no. Same thing with buying a home, all right? There's a reason that we get licensed. There's a reason that we go through continuing education, background checks, et cetera, et cetera. There are things that you don't know because that's not your job, all right? I'm not gonna put up my own gutters, I promise, okay? I'm gonna call a gutter expert. Oh, okay. Do they understand your needs? You need to gel with your realtor. Because again, this is a relationship. In my opinion, this is not a transaction. I will tell you 100% truth. I don't even figure out what my commission is until I'm on my way to closing. I don't know. I don't care. What's important to you? That's what I do know and care about. Somebody asked, does it matter? Oh, are they committed or dabbling? This is my full-time career. I'm not doing something else on the side and getting around to working with you when it's convenient or I have a pocket. Volume or transactions, what matters? Well, last year I did 4 more transactions than I did this year, but half the volume. Depends. I doubled my volume this year on 4 less transactions. It's not necessarily a true indicator. What are their qualifications beyond the license? And that's why I shared earlier. Somebody who is 20 years old and just got their license, that is awesome. What else are they bringing to the party besides enthusiasm? What do they know? How many transactions have they, as a consumer, closed? What is their response time? That is something I get complimented on often. Wow, Daphne, you're available all the time. No, I have boundaries. It just looks that way. Family always has good intentions, but probably your dad's not a licensed inspector, and your mom's probably not a licensed contractor. So let's keep them on a need-to-know basis and know that they want the best for you, but most of the time they just don't know what they're talking about. And then you don't know what you don't know. You've got to have a professional help you if you want to save money and time. And then FSBO, FSBO, for sale by owner, or a listing agent. Are you really saving money? People, I'm gonna do this on my own. If you use a realtor, you're gonna get 33% more from using a realtor versus the 6% you could pay out in commissions. Preparing and presenting the home. You know what to do? This is your home. I come in objectively and say, lovely family, get the photos off the wall. We get your home professionally taken care of. How are showings going to be managed? Are you gonna take off work and go meet the realtor there? And if it's not a realtor, you gonna go meet Joe Schmo, who could be a serial killer? How will the word get out? How's somebody gonna know besides I stuck a sign in my yard? Or if you're going to get listed on FSBO, you're gonna be amongst, how are you gonna be found? Safety first. Again, that goes back to, I run people through security measures that I take before I even let them in your house. And so do the realtors when I'm taking, buying, and selling. Negotiating skills. Some people hate it. They're like, no, I love it. Bring it on. What is your buyer pool? If you have a realtor, we're going to show you on the next slide, and market shifts. Go ahead and let's hit the next slide because I know I'm running short on time. Can you, is that up? Did that work?
Looks like it.
Okay, so this is one of my listings on Stripe. Right now, he's on his way right now. There's going to do a virtual 3D tour of the home. Is that something that you can do on your own? Okay, I don't charge you for this, but this is what I bring to the party, okay? It's on homes.com, and that is seen, I've got the analytics, and I'm not gonna bore you with that, but my stuff shows up on ESPN and all these major markets because I'm a professional doing what I do. Let's go back to the next one, and I just wanted to give you a couple of quick tangible examples. James Lane, I was the third realtor to list it. The first two realtors had it listed at $480,000. I insisted that it be staged. We closed full price at $550,000. Next one. Newcastle. This was a widow. She was grieving. She has 2 young kids. She didn't know. She just needed to move on and get out of that house. She wanted to list it at one price. I got her $100,000 more because I knew what it could do. Next one. Wagon wheel. What happens when you're in the middle of a transaction and a spouse dies? Right? You need a professional to help navigate those types of situations. And that one, wagon wheel, was just over $1 million. We took it live on Monday. We were under contract for cash Friday of the same week. And then Rolling Oaks. This is a house, they tried for sale by owner. They got no calls. I listed it last Friday. We were under contract Monday. Okay? Working with a realtor makes a difference. Go ahead, next one. And then, this is me. I don't know. I guess we rank. Okay, here, I just implore you. There's a reason we have an industry. And it's because we are the experts. And if you will allow us to do our job, one of my favorite things, I showed you a bunch of houses that I've sold. What about my buyers? I think so far to date, the most equity somebody had when we went to the closing table was $50,000. Do you think they would have gotten that on their own? Most likely not, because again, people don't tend to like to negotiate. But we negotiated it down. That appraisal came in. They closed, they had an extra 50 grand in their pocket going into the closing. That's what using a realtor can make a difference. So if you want to make money or you want to save money, work with a realtor. Daphne, thank you. Did I use up even question
Nope,
time?
you're good. So you got about 3 minutes for questions,
Okay.
3 or 4 minutes?
Anybody have any questions?
Trying to understand someone who might be looking at a realtor, you said the value versus the transactions. How would they be able to identify what might be most important, or hey, this person is doing what they need to be done? I didn't quite 100% follow how to differentiate.
Sure. Well, it's tricky, and that's why you kind of like, how do I do it? So some people could say, well, Daphne only closed, I'll just throw it out here, 24 transactions in 2024. I did almost $5 million in those 24 transactions. This year I closed 20 transactions and I did just under $9 million. Bottom line, I'm in the top 10% of Keller Williams and I'm doing what needs to be done. So when you have people, ask them, you know, well, tell me a little bit about your volume. What's your transactions? How many transactions have you done? I know realtors who truly have had one closing this year. I'm not judging them by any means. I don't know. Are they doing this full time? Are they doing it part time? Do they maybe need a little more training? I don't know. But in Northwest Arkansas, it is a cat's throw away to be near, or swing a cat, that's what it is. Don't hurt animals, y'all. I'm being recorded. You can't swing a cat without hitting a realtor. Yeah, but there are realtors, and there are realtors. Does that make sense? And I didn't really answer your question, but
You helped guide me on the right path.
okay, thank you, yes ma'am.
So, if someone's going out looking for a property in the residential space, about how many properties or how long is it taking for them to find something that is workable for them?
That's a great question, and that was point 8 on one of my slides about the market shift, okay? It does shift. Right now, when I'm helping people buy a home, if we are going to list it, I look at what's active and what's pending, because that's our competition. When we are looking to buy a home, we're going to look at what closed. That's a little bit of a shift in the market. A lot of it depends upon where. So a home that I have, it's pending now in Bella Vista. It was on the market 22 days. My client is thrilled. I got it under contract in less than a month. Me, not so much. I'm still of the mindset of a few years ago where it has been a week and you're not under contract. What did I do wrong? Okay, so it also depends upon what are you looking for. I've got a client right now. Woo! They want a piece of land with 2 houses already on it. Okay, that's gonna take a little bit longer than I wanna buy a house in a Pea Ridge subdivision. So it really kind of depends upon the case. Yeah, Jared.
You mentioned advocating for the vulnerable, in this case widows or widowers. Can you tell any stories of that, or just a quick aside of your favorite part of negotiating there?
Well, I mean, so here's another one. I went to church with a man, widower, and he had a house that family members trashed. Never have I ever, until then, stepped on bread on the floor. I didn't know what that smell was, but apparently squirrel stuff smells a little different. He got a phone call from a passerby and said, we'll pay you $35,000 cash. And I said, please do not. I said, I don't care if I officially represent you or not, but at least let me find some numbers for you. We wound up selling that house for $70,000. He is better off now, and Sue knows exactly what I'm talking about. But that's what makes me feel good, is that he was done right.
So I see a lot of posts on like social media where realtors post like the home for sale and they say like $10,000 in buyer concessions. What does that mean?
That means that the buyer, that the seller, yeah, we're gonna list it at $465, but I'm gonna give you $10,000 in concessions. So maybe the carpet needs to, if it's a established home, we're still gonna list it at this price, but at the closing table, we're gonna take off some money. So maybe the carpet needs to be replaced, maybe, if it's a brand new home, we're gonna give you $10,000 credit towards a fence. So it kind of depends on the situation.
Closing costs as well as for their loan, so if they want to buy the rate down or anything like that,
Yeah.
or that first year insurance and taxes, that's also included in that seller concession.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's free money, but it's not, it's just a way to navigate and negotiate and promote.
We learned with our VA loan that it's not free money. Because
Yeah.
once the VA appraiser comes in, they will appraise it for less than what it's actually listed at, and so that also helped, we lost our concessions because of that. But it kind of was a blessing in disguise because the seller ended up already eating $14,000. So it was more of a blessing for them to not have to eat that with a family of 5 than anything.
So,
As somebody that has a physical contract I can send out if I have to, when I get requested to do that, I just cringe because, we don't set up inspections. I'm not gonna be out there doing a termite inspection. There's so many things, we don't mandate insurance, you can talk to your lender. And so there's so much, that you have to have, have foot in the grave and another one on the infield. And you have to work a physical contract because people think that we are gonna replace the realtor, and we don't, just in case anybody needs to know that, we're gonna replace the realtor.
thank you.
So I do refer you a lot, and you also. Just, friends don't let friends fizz bump.
I have a quick question. So one thing that I noticed throughout the presentation is you mentioned you have a team behind you and you're resourced and with networking, how you have that. So with that, what does that include? Like, I know you mentioned like staging. Like, do you have those people that it's like, hey, when somebody comes to you, you have all these people ready to help
Yeah, so staging is a perfect example. That house that we listed for 100,000 more, it was lovely. It was quaint, it was charming. It wasn't pow. So my stager went in there, used some of the existing furniture, but moved some of it out and officially, staged it appropriately. I have a list of inspectors that I recommend. I can't tell you which one to use, but you might want to start at the top. And, if there's a question with title, if there's a question with mortgage, I have my team here, but then if we have something behind the scenes, we can navigate and negotiate that.
Cool, great job.